Hi, guys.
Hi.
Oh my goodness, I'm too tired for that. Oh, the Lord put me to sleep today, for a long time today. I got some good sleep finally. But I don't remember my dreams. I do remember that He had me traveling worlds again, because I do remember bits and pieces, but just, not like the full outcome of the dream, just different places. Anyway, it is a little after 1 o'clock in the morning. So it is 11:12 today on the Gregorian.
I never thought staying up this late would be so awesome, especially without drugs.
I know. People accuse us of doing drugs all the time, but that's not the case at all. First of all, we know what it's like in the spiritual realm as far as how demons want to attack you and stuff. So we would never go in the spiritual realm unless Jesus was guiding us in a dream to go there. So when you are doing drugs and you're opening up doors, you are, putting yourself in danger in the spiritual realm. And for us, in the 144,000, the original kingdom, you're giving your location away, and God created so many worlds just to protect your location. So believe me, that's the last thing we would do. And people say, well, drinking alcohol is opening doors too. Well, yeah, if you get drunk, but we don't get drunk. So, Jesus is not religious like that, so that's why He turned water to wine, so there's nothing wrong with having a couple drinks. It's just how you indulge in things, if you overdo something.
And that's the wineskin process. He teaches you takes all that trauma away that causes you to indulge, so you can really enjoy a drink or two and you're fine. You don't need any more.
Exactly. And speaking of the wineskin process, Faith Over Fear 44, Kassi, she just put out an awesome video today talking about the wineskin process, and she's going to have many more talking about the wineskin process. And Jesus just had Denise start to go on social media as well, and her screen name is @ButGod_3838. Jesus clock. So he's using us. He's building his team, right? He's building his team to put out his mysteries, because when God speaks something, He always has 2 or more witnesses, right? He doesn't just give you a secret and make you hold that secret for a long time. Now, He may tell you something personal in a personal message, and it's not time to release it yet, but He always, even with a secret, He usually always has 2 or more witnesses.
And He releases it pretty soon.
Yeah, He does. He's always like, you can't tell anyone, right? And then the next day He's like, okay, time to call Kassi.
Yeah.
Tell her. Time to call Denise, so he uses different witnesses for things. He's really, really cute. I love Jesus so much. He's so excited, like he can't hold his surprises.
He's a father. When your dads or moms, when you guys get a gift for your kids, and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything, but you can't stop yourself from giving that gift to your kids, because you can't wait to see their faces light up. He's the same way. He really is.
He is such the same way, because he can't keep a secret at all. Like, he's just so excited for his children. And it's all of his children. He has so many blessings, so many surprises for his children. And okay, so now that we're on 11:12 today, which is
11:3, yes, 3:11. A lot of marriage for 3:11. Do you see why the devil mocked it with 23 everywhere on TV and movies?
Right, exactly. Because you were saying that Jesus Christ, he his spirit was taken up
at 3:11. Yes.
And they removed Him off the cross at 3:15. So all of those are very, very significant dates. And it's interesting because the 5:13 message was I believe, day 2 of getting on the ark when Jesus was scribing. So
nice.
I'm kind of like an encyclopedia inside my head when dates and numbers, but I study all the time. I read these prophecies over and over again so I can pass his tests, right? It's so important, because He's not only going to give us tests, he's giving the world tests, you know. And there will be a final exam, where He will put out prophets showing you whether or not you need the wineskin process or you don't. It's just finished, right? Then He will have some other groups talking about how, there's more of a religious spirit attached to them, it's going to be interesting. Let me just tell you, he has lots of plans for everything.
Really great soap opera.
And as you can see, he's showing the supernatural. Like, I mean, he changes my hair every day.
Yeah,
guys, I literally do nothing to my hair. Literally, I wake up and it's almost like perfect every time. G's the witness.
Yeah, no, it's true.
She
doesn't.
To my hair.
She's like, let me get ready.
I don't even blow dry my hair, to be honest. And honestly, because we don't have the
Those
water.
streaks on your front part are different now. They're like black and like really bright gray white.
Yeah, he keeps doing that. Yeah, he does. And if you watch the videos that I'm getting ready to release, so this will be future because this will come after, but you're going to see my hair changing in real time in the video as Jesus is speaking. Because he's trying to show you little things, but the ones without spiritual eyes, you probably won't see anything because he's putting a veil where you see nothing.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering why some people are saying they see things and you don't, you might want to check your heart posture.
Your heart.
Because he's trying to show you that you're not walking in the Spirit a lot of times. Not always the case. Sometimes he just wants you to keep knocking and thou shalt receive, because you need to unblock some more frequencies to see it, because you are walking in the Spirit, but you don't have enough frequencies to recognize it yet. And that could be the case too. So only Jesus knows our hearts and everything. Anyway, so we're going to read a prophecy that hasn't been out yet, 11/23/2023. So as you can see, towards the end, I mean, Jesus, he kept speaking the whole time, but he had me off YouTube because I had 512 videos. He was marking the midnight cry of 2:15 and also the beginning and the end journey to start the end times, 5:12. So he was symbolizing that, most likely because of the time shift and when we go back and how he stopped the clock. All of his numbers mean something, and he uses it all the time.
Yeah, how about you read the prophecy, and I'll read the scriptures.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, it's your prophecy.
Well, no, it's our prophecy because we're one.
It's just it flows so beautifully from your tongue.
Okay. All right, November 23rd, 2023. The glass door is wide open. Have you checked the coordinates on the glass? The pieces of the puzzle have come to a halt. It's closing down. The circumference is no longer the center. Billowing sombers is at the chain of command. Down, striking the units of collaboration. Printing the economical factors and pinching the airwaves. The grass is green on the riches side, and all points are folded downward, ready for annihilation. We're at the brunt of all these things, and the trumpet call sets it all in motion. They are waiting on me now, game, set, match, but I have to make the move first, or no more puzzle pieces will be at play. I have control of everything. I make the enemy wait on me and my plans and my will. It infuriates them a little more, and this is what causes retaliation when I give them free domain over this world. I am Yeshua Hamashiach speaking. I am Yeshua Hamashiach, and I have spoken.
All right. 1 Corinthians 11:3. But, I'm sorry, my eyes crossed for a little bit. But I will that ye know that Christ is the head of every man, and the man is a woman's head, and God is Christ's head.
Wait, God is Christ's head. Do you see? He's literally showing you right there in that verse that Jesus is God.
Yeah, I read.
And the Father.
I keep reading comments. You guys know who you are, but they keep saying Jesus is not the Father.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
And there is a grandfather in heaven, by the way. There's a grandmother and a grandfather. All of that is like part of the original kingdom.
Remember, grandpa, father, son is father.
Yeah. So all those mysteries will come out on his perfect timing in his books and stuff to correlate with that. Another thing, one of the comments, there's another comment where he said, it seems like Jesus is warning us now because of what he's setting up, but then it also seems like we're so close. So let me explain that. Well, these prophecies some of them are in 2023, some of them are in 2024, and some of them are in 2025. So you have to understand, he speaks now in the present, but he also speaks in the future. Mm-hmm. And so he's going to continue to warn you. Even when he says there's no more messages for the bride, and this is my last prophecy, it is because for that future date on that mirror that mirrors that date and time, it will be the last prophecy for when he causes up. So there's mirrors, there's puzzle pieces in how he's using the calendars. That's why it's important to kind of know the calendars. Okay, and so he is always warning, and it does always seem like there's an urgency of where it's coming now, right? But that's also part of your testing, because are you going to make it about your feelings and about wanting to just leave and go home, or do you want to save his children?
Yes.
And we had to learn that, trust me. He put us out in the public and made us say certain days and made us get so excited thinking that rapture was here, but we didn't know he was speaking in future. We didn't know he was doing the time shift, and we didn't know he was going to use Hezekiah, physically use Hezekiah and turn the dial back. You don't know all those things. All you have is obedience and faith to live by, and that's what we did, and that's why we got hated by the world and we're called false prophets, because of all the dates. But every single date Jesus spoke, he's going to use again, and our spirits did go up 6/17/2023, and he repeated the process again 6/17/2024, and he's going to use all that again, because those are very significant numbers for heaven, because some of you have been living in the New Jerusalem in the spirit, and you don't know because you have an echoed soul there. It's not your original soul attached to it, so you don't know you're there. So.
All right. Psalm 82:1-8. A psalm committed to Asaph. God standeth in the assembly of gods. He judgeth among gods. How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah. Do the right thing, poor. Oh my
Do
God.
right to the poor
and fatherless. Do justice to the poor and needy. Okay, I got it. Deliver the poor and needy. Save them from the hand of the wicked. They know not and understand nothing. They walk in darkness. Albeit all the foundations of the earth be moved. I have said, ye are gods, and ye are all children of the Most High, but ye shall die as a man, and ye princess.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Ye are all the children of the Most High. Do you see how perfect God correlates his dates to match the comments? Because literally somebody was saying, well, not all are the children of God. Well, Scripture just proves you wrong right there. So you have to understand, we are all children of God because he's our creator. So whether or not you know him yet in this realm, you're still his child.
That's right. The foundations of the earth be moved. I have said, ye are gods, and ye are all children of the Most High. But ye shall die as a man, and ye princess shall fall like others. O God, arise therefore, judge thou the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. John 11:6. And after he had heard that he was sick, yet abode he 2 days still in the same place where he was. 2 Corinthians 2:5. And if any hath caused sorrow, the same hath not made me sorry, but partly, lest I should more charge him you all. Mark 3:10. For he that healed many, and so much that they pressed upon him to touch him, as many as had plagues. Luke 8:5. A sower went out to sow his seed, and as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and it was trodden under feet, and the fowls of heaven devoured it up. John 3:10. Jesus answered and said unto him, Art thou a teacher of Israel, and knowest not these things? Luke 1:7. And they had no child, because that Elizabeth was barren, and both were well stricken in age. Matthew 19:2. And great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there. Isaiah 19:7. The grass in the river, and at the head of the rivers, and all of that groweth by the river, shall wither, and be driven away, and be no more. Isaiah 43:6. I will say to the north, give to the south, keep not back, bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Ezekiel 12:4. Then shalt thou bring forth thy stuff by day in their sight, as the stuff of him that goeth into captivity, and thou shalt go forth at even in their sight, as they had go forth into captivity. Genesis 15:3. Again Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, wherefore, lo, a servant of mine house shall be mine heir. Exodus 19:7. Moses then came and called for the elders of the people, and proposed unto them all these things which the Lord commanded him. Psalm 21:4. He asked life of thee, and thou gavest him a long life forever and ever.
All right, well, that's the message. That was the prophecy that he gave on 2023. So you see, a lot of times, because God knows the future, people don't understand why he gives those certain scriptures, but he's literally matching what's happening right now. So a lot of times in 2023, people would pray to Jesus and they would say, is she really hearing from God? Are they really getting instructions from God, right? So they would go to the Lord's feet, which is what you're supposed to do, which is what we always claim, because we claim that Jesus Christ came in the flesh, bled and died on the cross, and rose on the third day. Okay, so you're supposed to go to the Lord and ask him if he's using us, right? So people were praying things and they were like, okay, Lord, and they were testing the Lord, though. I mean, they were like, well, can you make her say something that I would know that she's speaking from the Lord? So there were random things. So like sometimes he would talk about New Orleans, because that's where that woman was from who asked the Lord in 2023. And he said she will talk about New Orleans in the next video or whatever. And of course I didn't know this until after I mentioned New Orleans, and then she told me the story how she prayed about that. And there were other things that the Lord led them to that morning. And then in the video that I made in 2023, it confirmed what the Lord just gave them. So you see, he's using all of us.
And that's why I want to say that's why it's so important not to assume when a lot of people, they're like, that makes no sense whatsoever what they're saying. That's why you should never assume, because you don't have God's mind. You don't have his plan. So you should probably not assume, and wait or pray for discernment and pray and have patience, and that comes out.
Yeah, it's like boogie balls that he spoke randomly.
We'll find out why.
I still don't know what boogie balls means, but I'm telling you, there will be something that comes out why he said boogie balls.
Yep. But we have to be obedient and do it, and that's what he's training the children to do. The same
thing. Literally could have been someone praying and saying, will you say boogie balls? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. You just don't know what God has planned, but it's Jesus because you feel the love behind it. And every single message, you feel the fruit of the Spirit. Now, there are things that people accuse of us saying that we don't have the fruit. It tells us all, and that's because they don't understand the mysteries. They think that we're trying to change God's Bible. They think that our scriptures that we give, like from Jesus, and the words that he gives us are not lining up with Scripture. But that's because they just don't have all the pieces, and it does line up perfectly with Scripture. I have proven so many times with Scripture in the chat of what Jesus has taught me with Scripture, and it always gets ignored every time. No matter how much it's proven, it gets ignored. So, I still keep trying, but anyway, we love you. God is showing the supernatural. He's showing that he's working through us, and I mean, if this isn't enough to convince you, I'm not sure.
He'll show you more.
How. I don't know. Anyway, I love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Bye.
For the next one. God bless.
God bless.